This Skip coming to you live, straight out of Real Hot Six Aquatic Kennels. Today, I am going to show you how I prepare for the winter months, being as though my aquarium building is outdoors and it does not have any central or heating system whatsoever. So one of the things I do to prepare for those months, because I can go weeks or months in during the winter months without doing any water changes. And that's because we have well water and the water is too cold, first of all. Second of all, the water freezes up before it even gets to the aquarium building. So my fish have to adapt. I have to make adjustments as well to my filtration in order to keep my tanks healthy and vibrant during the winter months. So one of the things I do is I soak these hydroton expanded clay pods that they use for aquaponic systems, also for hydro system. These pods are used to grow vegetables or any ordinary flowers in the garden or hydroponic or aquaponic garden. This is the bed or the bedding that they use. But me, I sort of take it to another level. I understand the science behind these pods. So therefore, I use these pods in my filtration as well. Combined with carbon, these clay pods, as well as these ammonia stones, play a big role in my success of keeping my aquariums healthy during the winter months without doing hardly any water changes. Okay, now that I am done with filling the bag, the biomedium bag, you want to make sure, because I know a lot of you guys may try this at home, you want to make sure that you don't fill the bag up completely. You want it to be loosely fitted, and you want the biomedium equally dispersed throughout the bag. So you want an equal amount of charcoal or carbon and an equal amount of ammonia chips and an equal amount of hydro clay pods. Now you may say, well, Skip, we got clay pots in our tank, so why doesn't that work the same way as the clay pods? Where the clay pods aren't naturally bind like the clay pots. They also have carbon inside the clay pods as well, as you can see around here, dispersed. And the clay pods have a expandable surface so that the bacteria and the gases and ammonia can be equally dispersed throughout it. Now, the secret to it all is that the clay pods are hollow. So they float. They're not dense. So the density level is very, very, very light in these clay pods. Unlike your clay pots that sink straight to the bottom of your aquarium, these pods will float on the top of the surface of the aquarium in the water. And that's a good thing, because as the pods are floating inside your filter medium or your filtration system, it's creating a kinetic energy. It's like a magnetic force, because it keeps moving and shuffling around in here. So it's grabbing and attaching itself to all the harmful microbacteria that's in your tank or may possibly be in your filtration system. In the meantime, the ammonia chips are pretty much absorbing all the ammonia levels that's building up in your tank, if any. Because there shouldn't be any ammonia building up in your tank whatsoever once you use this type of filtration medium combined with these different components. The carbon, of course, you know exactly. You guys have been some of you guys have been in the aquarium business long enough, or the hobby long enough, to know exactly what carbon does. So I don't have to go into detail about that. So with these three materials combined, I use to help sustain my aquariums during the winter months when I just cannot do any water changes whatsoever. Now I have other tricks that I use as well, and other filter mediums that I use as well to help assist this particular system as well. Now remember guys, I explained to you that the clay pods, make sure it's nice. I'm in the shop area here. Make sure it's nice and thin layered. Don't make it too bulky or too thick. You want to give the clay pods room, surface room, so they can move around and work its magic. Now, as I was saying, these are not like your clay pots. These clay bulbs are hollow, so they float. Your clay pots are too dense. They will sink at the bottom of your filter, and it pretty much won't do you any good anyway, because it won't move along the surface of the water like it's supposed to create that vortex of kinetic energy to make certain microorganisms and bacteria to stick to the surface of it. These clay pods are good, because when you have tanks or you have ponds outside, or you have tanks in storage sheds outside, you get a lot of mosquitoes, and mosquito larvae will spread in your tanks. I've been having issues with that for the past few years now, since I've been running my tanks outside. And so one of the ways of alleviating the mosquito larvae expanding and growing in your tank is these little clay pods. For some reason, as they moving on the surface, the mosquito larvae sticks to it. So when you add aquarium salt, like I do every time I do a water change, I add aquarium salt. Even when I'm topping off my tanks, I add aquarium salt. When you add that aquarium salt and Metro Plus, it will kill the mosquito larvae, any worms, head worms, any type of foreign organism in your tank. It will destroy it. Now I wanted you guys to get a chance to see how this works scientifically in one of my filters. Now this is a cascade filter. So I place loose clay pods in this filter. But I want to show you, when you change in the filter pads, trying to hold the camera and change the filter pad at the same time, you want to make sure you see that you don't trap the pods underneath the filter pad. So let me do that. I tried to place a little LED light on here on the back of the filter so you can see it as it's working. You see how the large balls are rotating? I try to use the larger ones so the smaller ones won't get trapped underneath the filter medium. And also my ammonia chips I place on the side with a propeller and a rotation in here. So every once in a while this ammonia chip will rotate. See? And the more and more bacteria that builds up in your filtration system, the more and more these clay pods float. And this is a Cascade 300. I like the Cascade 300 because I could put some loose medium in there, and Banzo has these two compartments, and the third right here. This will trap any bivalves that try to escape the filtration system and get into the tank. I think I have one little one right here now. Let's see if I can get it out. See how it's trapped underneath there? Can't focus on it. So I don't have to worry about those little clay pods floating around in the tank and my fish mistaking it as a pellet or food and accidentally swallow it, and then you have another major problem because your fish swallow it, it gets down in their digestive tract and it got all that bacteria in it. It can create a digestive tract infection, and that we do not want. So that's why I use certain filters. I don't place too many of these clay pods in the filter. You want to give them area, surface area to rotate. So don't put too many in. Like this one right here, I put like 6 of them in there, and I put like 3 ammonia chips in there. That should be enough. Okay, here's a demonstration of my winter filter medium. Those are the bivalves, the carbon, the charcoal, all that stuff. It rotates. It skims the surface. You probably can't, the camera probably not picking up, but the balls are slightly moving. And here's another product that I use, Chemi-Pure. And actually those 2 bags that's under this bio medium are 2 bags of Chemi-Pure. That's very important too, as far as use during the winter time. Chemi-Pure alleviates you having to do multiple water changes in a time where you can't. Hey, you may go out of town for a few weeks. You may want to try this method, but I have to use this method because, as you can see, I'm in the aquarium building. That's one of my fans that run 24/7. That fan sucks the hot air and humidity out. And then I have another fan on the other end that sucks the cool air in, which keeps a healthy balance here in the aquarium room. Other than that, there is no central air or heating or any other way of regulating the temperature in here besides the aquarium heaters themselves. In this room, even though it's winter time, I maintain over there on that thermostat, you can see a core temperature of at the very least 72, 75 degrees, but shoot, this shows the humidity level, but this room is now 78, almost 80 degrees, and it's like 46 degrees outside, if I'm not mistaken.